A guy that we think will probably be a day two guy is the next guy. Gennings Dunker, Iowa, 6'5", 319 pounds. What do you see with Dunker?
Well, he's a guy who played tackle, but he's the guy that's going to move inside. Once again, there's something really to like technically from the Iowa guys. These are guys who are fundamentally sound, both in gap schemes, down blocking, anything you want offensive line-wise. You can see the fundamentals there, getting off a double team to the second level. He does a great job of base blocking. You'll see his feet moving on contact there. That's a base block, putting a guy in the ground. You'll see here the steps getting to the defensive end. Again, you see the feet on contact is what we like to say, and he's always looking to finish. You'll see there, that's an outside zone step. You see how great that step was. Again, constantly putting guys in the ground. You see him pull here, get to the edge as a tackle so he can pull at guard. You'll see him here get his hands on you, another guy that gets his hands on you. Now, the thing that you like, besides his toughness, besides everything he does really well, again, being from Iowa tells you how fundamentally sound. You talk about Ohio State being receiver U, and you talk about rarely do you get a bad offensive lineman from Iowa. They are well coached, they're nasty, they're physical, and they're guys that are there a while. These aren't one and done guys at Iowa. These are guys that are in Iowa for a long time. They get bigger, stronger, and better coached each year. So another day one guy, plug and play guy who plays with a nasty kind of temperament when he's playing.
When Kirk Ferentz, longtime head coach at Iowa, used to be the Browns' offensive line coach back in the day, so he knows a little bit about NFL offensive line play.
Well, yeah, you talk about zone steps and gap steps, and just once again the why. Why am I stepping this way? Why? What will happen if this guy's in front of me? Why do I still have to step to the right? Well, because that's where the linebacker will be. So not only are they just not kind of going through the motions where we're going to block the guy in front of you, but there's a reasoning at Iowa. When you watch the Iowa offensive line, they look like a pro line, not in skill set, but just in their thought process and their steps and how they play and attack each front they see each and every week.
Where do you expect him to go, Dunker, relative to the draft?
Well, I would think he'd be a late day two guy into day three, just because he's an interior guy. He's not flashy on offensive line. He's not a guy who's super twitchy, sudden. He doesn't have the super raw traits. But what he is, he's a production guy. He's not a potential guy. So I probably late day two into day three. Once again, one of those guys that's kind of all over the board with different people. For me, you can never go wrong drafting a guy who's produced in a system that's going to be very similar to that in the NFL. So, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if he's around early day three, but I don't expect him to last long if he'd last that long.